This morning we're going to talk about a treasure map that Bill found in 1994, and here's I wrote it down what it said, and Bill's going to tell you about it.
Well, I was doing repair work on houses. Some new, some older houses, but in a town not too far from here, an old town. But it was an old adobe house that the people had bought it, and they wanted the windows replaced, put modern type windows in it. And so I had to tear the old windows out down to the frame and install new windows in it. Once I got this one window, and nobody was around. We've never told anybody about this, and so we'll just let it go now. But anyway, when I got down to the frame, as I was measuring it, I just happened to notice there's writing on the frame that had been covered up by the window batting. The windows, trim and stuff. It's all actual frame wood, and it was old wood, rough cut fresh from a saw, not fresh, but it had come from a sawmill. It wasn't plain wood. Like nowadays, it was like from a sawmill a long time ago. What it said was...
Well, how old do you think that house was?
Well, I think it was probably 100 years old or better. In that area, there's a lot of old houses that were here back in territorial days. And but I think whoever put it there probably heard it from somebody else, or wrote it down, or knew about it, whatever. But anyway, what the writing said on it. And Susie, I wrote it down on a pad before I covered it up, and I never told anybody about it. Anybody in this area. It said to go south on what is now Highway 70, and before you get to St. Augustine Pass or St. Augustine Springs, which is just past the mountain pass in the Oregon Mountains, you start looking for an outcrop of 3 large rocks facing the east, and that the sun will come and shine on those and kind of pinpoint where it's at. And below these rocks, there's a rock with a cross on it, etched into it. And underneath that rock is supposed to be 50 mule loads of payroll gold, Army payroll, that was robbed. It doesn't say how it got there, but it just said, use a pick, dig down under the rock, and you'll find the money or the gold, whatever it is. We went over there on horseback, and it was in 1994 when I found it. And a few years after that, just for the horse ride mainly, we went over to that area. A very large area. We rode it most of the day.
It'd be hard to find.
It would be hard to find, but if anybody's interested in that kind of thing, it would be something that they could. And having talked about it and said that, you got to remember that there's probably 100 of them old tales out here about Spanish treasure, buried Army payroll in territorial days and earlier. You hear about it a lot. There's one west of here supposed to have been called the Victorial Peak Treasure. I've talked about it before. It's well known. It's been documented. What evidence there is on it. The Army was looking for it at one time in those mountains to the west.
But it's funny that we never heard of this
Yeah, I've
treasure.
never heard of this one. And this was, I just happened, right time, right place, replacing the windows in this old adobe house for these people. And
And they probably didn't even know it's there.
I didn't tell them either. You know, I'm not going to say where the house is at.
Yeah.
But it was in a small town in this part of the state. And I've done a lot of that work back then. After I retired, well, I done extra, you know, just something to stay busy. And it was something. We went for a long ride, about a day ride over there, looking around, and it would take no telling how long to pin it down if it's even true. But there it is.
It was fun to go to look anyway.
It was exciting, and we had 2 young horses in that could go all day, and it was steep terrain and rugged terrain. There's a lot of rocks, a lot of bluffs or cliffs, whatever you want to call them, and
Now.
it was just, you know, an interesting
Bell.
thing to do at that time. But for anybody that's interested in it, there it is. It's out in the public now.
Yeah.
We have no claim to it, no ties to it. It's just something that I ran across a long time ago, and I don't think we'll ever go back there again.
Well, you need time. You need to camp there and really look. It's a large area.
If there,
Water.
You need to research to see what, whether it's BLM, National Forest, or it could be on private property now. I don't know. We never. Back then, it was just wide open. And,
Yeah.
I think it might have been BLM, but I'm not sure. It's been a long time ago, 1994. But it was a good ride. We did find a big bowl of white quartz. I remember we was riding.
Oh, it was a great big chunk.
It's bigger than a softball. It's about that big around. And I thought, young and dumb, I thought, boy, there's probably some gold in that.
Yeah, because there is golden quartz.
Yeah, there's a lot of times there's gold inside quartz, and I busted it open right there. I got off the horse and got it on a big rock, busted it. It wasn't nothing that we seen, but it was interesting. It's just a big old chunk of. There's a lot of mines in that area, old mines, all up and down that mountain range. Gold, silver, and lead, and turquoise. It was heavily mined at one time, a long time ago. But there's a story for anybody that's interested. And that's all I know about it. I don't know any more particulars.
Yeah, just what it was wrote on that wall.
Yeah. But, and again, I have no claim to it, I don't know anything more than that about it, just what I ran across.
Well, 50 mules with load of Army payroll. Wouldn't that be paper?
No, they were doing gold coins.
Or were they?
At one time. There was a fort north and west of there called Fort Selden. You can look it up on the internet. That was, I think, the closest fort. Fort Bliss was farther away. It was south of there. Everybody knows where Fort Bliss is at if they know. It's still there still is a Fort Bliss, but it's a army post. But I believe that Fort Selden it's in ruins, but it's kind of like a national park or a state park. You can go take pictures of it, but it's west of there, and it's right on the Rio Grande. And that would be the closest fort. There might have been one at Mesilla. There was a town called Mesilla, and there still is a town called Mesilla, New Mexico, and it's right on the Rio Grande, right on the border, south of there quite a ways.
It'd be nice. There might be treasure hunters that do that for a living. Go take a look.
Yeah, if they want.
I wish we would know if they found something, but I'm sure they wouldn't tell nobody.
Well,
No.
They probably wouldn't. But there's the Oregon Mountains are real prominent when you see them. We can see them from here if we get up high enough. They're real prominent because the reason they're named that they've got some peaks that look like organ pipes.
And people rock climb them.
Yeah, they rock climb like the ones out in Yosemite in California. They're rocks like that, and you can hike. There's hiking trails there. There is a state park in that area, so it might be on part of the state park now. I don't know.
Yeah, but anybody go look for them, I'm sure they're not going to tell no. Oh, we found all that money.
The only clue that I could give is I think it's probably south and east of a thing called St. Augustine Pass, and that's well known.
Yeah.
Everybody in the state pretty well. If anybody that knows the state, or generally in this part of the state, everybody knows where that's at. And but we thought we'd let everybody have that story and do with it what you want. It doesn't belong to us; it belongs to everybody. This old cowboy, he was a neighbor to us several years ago when we lived closer to the mountains, and just got to know him a little bit. And he was quite a bit older than us, and he grew up in this area, and he traveled all over the state doing different kinds of work. I think he went to Alaska for a while and done some work and done some gold panning up there.
He did. He had some gold one time.
He did. He had it in a little aspirin bottle that he a good bit.
He told his sister-in-law, "Will you hang on to this for me?" And she don't. I don't know what happened to it.
It got lost. But anyway, he went riding with me a few times. He was an old cowboy, and he was a good horseman, even up in a higher age. He knew horses and knew them well. And but he had rode for a ranch north of here. He told us about a cave north of here, and we went with him, just to be safe. Susie stayed on the outside, and he and I went down in it. It was just kind of walking. You didn't have to climb much, and then it dropped off a little bit, and then you could walk some more, and then it was caved in farther in there. But he was sure there was something in there. We didn't find anything, but his youth looked like it come back to him in his eyes. He was really tickled to do that, and he would. They moved away from here. I would love to have showed him this.
He would love that, man.
Yeah, he loved that because he was really into that kind of stuff, and he was quite adventurous. And he knew when he was working. We knew him when he was still working for a ranch that we know of north of here, and he would bring home something to eat about every day that he would shoot or catch. A lot. Geese, ducks,
quail,
rabbits.
rabbits.
They gave us some quail already baked, little quail, and I don't know what how she done it. We never did question her on it. His wife, but that's some of the best food that we ever had. But he was a real outdoorsman and a real survivor.
He was.
But he was a good person too. And they moved away. He couldn't. His health was getting bad, and they moved away to another area. But anyway, that's the story.
If he had that map when he was younger, he'd be over there all the time looking for it.
Yeah, he probably would. Yeah.
We might too if we was younger. Climbing rocks.
I'm still pretty young.
Yeah. Well, we let the horses do the walking anyway.
Yeah, it's rough country over there.
It is rough.
Anybody that thinks about it, it's pretty rough. It's not no city park. It's not no city park. So there's the story.
Yep.
You're welcome to it. I hope you have a good time. Be careful.
Thanks for watching from Out West Homestead. Bye.